Mr. Vidudalai, Senior Advocate and former Advocate General of Tamil Nadu, Dr. Meenakshi Sundaram, Ms. Indra Thangabalu, Mr. Salma, Mr. Vedavalli Kumar, Mr. Sampath, Mrs. Santhakumari, other distinguished invitees, members of the Tamil Nadu Women's Lawyers Forum. Good afternoon to you. This is a very important session. The topic is political empowerment of women. I think even in the previous session, inaugural session, something was mentioned about the empowerment of women, particularly in the political side. This is the time of general elections, and every day we are waiting for the candidates to be announced. That leads to the real empowerment of our assembly and parliament. And I find women are the backbone of the family system. And I always feel, but for them, the family system will not be so strong in our country. Sometimes I find some of the judgments of the courts try to weaken the family system. Two judgments I would like to quote since all of you are here. I don't know what is your feeling, the female lawyers. One is, you can live together without marriage. We see this happening in the Western world, and if a child is born, when he or she becomes a major, they are searching for the father's name. Should it happen in India also? That is there for some time. The latest judgment is that you have your own freedom before marriage. But after marriage, you are supposed to lose some freedom, sacrifice some freedom, because you become a husband or a wife. But the latest judgment says adultery is not an offense in this country. These are the two judgments, I think, which will shake the family system of our country. And I want the lawyers as a whole, and particularly the Tamil Nadu lawyers or All India Women Federation, to take this up. As far as political empowerment is concerned, I have been witnessing in the last 50 years. I was elected to Lok Sabha in 1967. And when I went to Parliament, Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister in 1967. Probably one of the important Prime Ministers of the world. She was the longest surviving Prime Minister in the entire world for about 15 years. And in fact, I was in the opposition. We used to call her the only man in the cabinet. That's the kind of power she had, Indira Gandhi. And we produced a number of leaders. In fact, in the last session it was mentioned. But how far we are giving them equal opportunity? As Madam pointed out, Dr. Ami Yajnik, but for the 73rd and 74th Amendment, women would not have seen so many posts in the local bodies, both urban and rural. A bill was introduced in 1996 for 1/3 of reservation in the Parliamentary Assembly for women. It was pending for such a long time, and in 2010, it was passed in Rajya Sabha. Once it's passed in Rajya Sabha, normally it should be brought back to Lok Sabha, and it should become a law. Never happened. All the parties are supporting. Congress is supporting, BJP is supporting, all important parties except one or two regional parties. All of them were in favor of the bill, but the bill never sees the light of the day. And in 2014, it got lapsed. Now it is 5 years. It was never reintroduced in Parliament. There was no agitation. I find at least there is some agitation for Sabarimala issue. Of course, I have no interest in it because I don't go to temples at all. But what happens? Why did the women kept quiet? I find in all the political parties there is a women's section. Why did they not raise their voice? And we have wasted 5 years now. Now the next election is coming. In fact, I gave a note to some of our political parties on various things. First was education, second was passing this bill, and third one was connecting the rivers of Tamil Nadu and not to waste water whenever we get enough water. As far as political empowerment is concerned, the basic thing is education. Unless we give them education, no empowerment will be there, political, economic, social, etc. As it is, the Constitution provides up to the age of 14, it should be free and compulsory education. It is true when they go to government school. What happens? Most of them are, at least half of them do not go to government school, they go to private schools. And particularly those who get salary from the government, they never send their government school, their children, including the teachers who are working in the government schools. What is the free about education for these children? What do we do? That is for up to 14 years. There's only normally they are in the 9th class or so. It should be really, if you want to do something, it should go up to 18 years, 17 to 18 years. And we should be able to help either the children or the schools as far as private sector is concerned. And higher education. There is no free higher education in our country. More than 40 countries, higher education is free up to PhD level, like France, Germany, Norway, Sweden, etc. And 10 countries offer free education even to foreign students. We may not be able to do it, but what about offering free education up to higher education level? If it is immediately not possible, we have given a recommendation from the Education Promotion Society of India, of which I am the president, that women should be given first priority. All women, the girls should be given free education up to higher education level, and the next step, it can be given to boys also. Unless we give them education, this cannot be sustained and they cannot come up. We talk about political empowerment. In Tamil Nadu Assembly, women have only 7% presence. And in Parliament, it's about 11%. And in High Courts, it's about 10%. In fact, we are so happy that we have more women judges in Madras High Court. But there are 8 High Courts in the country where there are no women judges at all. That's the situation in the country. And because of lack of education, they do not constitute a bulk of the workforce. They constitute about 48 or 49% of the population, nearly half. But in the labor force, only 27% are working. If all of them start working like men, the growth of the country, rate of growth of the country go from 7%, 7.5% to 9%. That's what the economists predict. So it is possible for us to spend something more on education. Now, there is a lot of demand for the last 40, 50 years that at least 6% of the GDP should be spent on education. We have never crossed 4%. In the last budget, when it was presented by Mr. Goyal, Minister, out of 27 lakh crores, only 3% has been allotted for education, which is meant for primary education and up to higher education level. So it is time now that the government spends more money so that more women and children, especially belonging to the poor class and middle class, will get education. Only then empowerment will take place. In order to have political empowerment, we should, it should be 50%, that's what it was mentioned, but the bill is 1/3 of the Parliament and Assembly. It is time now that it gets reintroduced immediately after the election, whoever comes to power, and I want women to agitate, otherwise it will not come. because, you know, it is dominated by men. They are afraid of that you will also go to Parliament and Assembly and they will be thrown out of their practice, because many of them are practicing politicians. And in the next Parliament, we must see that the bill is passed, and at least after 5 years, there will be Parliament and Assembly, 1/3 of them will be women. I think it will be more disciplined if women are there in Parliament and Assembly. I was there for 10 years, from 1967 to 77. In 10 years, not a single day of Parliament was wasted. I see now 5% to 10% is only the Parliament is functioning. That is bad for democracy, and we should preserve our democracy. We have the form of democracy, but this kind of democracy never exists in any part of the world. We are talking about voting rights. If you are going to pay money and get votes, what kind of democracy we have? In fact, I want the educated of the public. We are only 8% of us are graduates in this country. If you take a decision and say that we don't want your money, we will vote, that must become a movement. Only then we will be able to preserve our democracy. Only then poor people and middle class people also can go to Parliament and Assembly. I spent 50,000 rupees to become a member of Parliament in 1967. It became 1,25,000 in 1971. Can we do anything with this 1 lakh or 50,000 now? It's all runs into crores. We talk about demonetization, we talk about black money, corruption, etc. But where this money come from? Everybody spends 20 crores, 25 crores and declares that because the maximum amount could be spent by an MP is 70 lakhs in our country. And they certify that I spent only 25 lakhs, 30 lakhs. So the whole Parliament, except 1 or 2 cases, is based on falsehood. And out of that comes the government. That is our Indian democracy. I think we must do something so that we can be also proudly say that a real democracy exists. Of course, I'm not going into the details. There we have very good speakers, especially Mr. Vidadala is there for his experience. Of course, he comes from a political family. I used to be very close to his father, Mr. Raghavanandam, who was a minister. I'm happy that he is here. So I request Mr. Vidadala to come and address you.